Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. Now, over the past 7 years, we have understood what matters most to you, the entrepreneur. And in year 8, we are taking two of your most pressing concerns head on, those of funding and mentoring. I'm Sumit Lakhotia, and on the show tonight, very special conversations with IBM, and on the other side of the break is CDE Asia. Our first conversation is with IBM's Ajay Mittal, who is the Chief Digital Officer. We spoke to him about what digital means to IBM and what are their digital plans for small businesses in India. Take a listen.
Thanks very much for taking the time to join us here in studio, Ajay. I do want to talk about the fact that digital is a very exciting space for anyone who's in any industry today, particularly for the small businesses that we here on the Leaders of Tomorrow talk with. So I want to start by asking you to define what digital really means for you at IBM.
Sure. Thanks for having me. Digital, when we look at, there are two dimensions we're looking at. One is from a pure technology and platforms that help enable digital for clients. Second is, what does it mean for clients' businesses in terms of the engagement models that digital helps them drive, right? Separating the two, the engagement models today, we are clearly seeing organizations engage their customers, their channels, their employees through multiple digital platforms that they're building for that engagement, right? So how they manage that is one part of the discussion. Other is what are the underlying technologies and platforms they use to drive that digital engagement, right? So clearly at the core of it, how do you deal with data, which is an integral part of every conversation today? How you're leveraging AI engines to drive some of these engagements and decision making. The platforms you use, especially, are you getting onto cloud platforms, for example, to get the agility and security that you require to get these digital platforms and digital engagements going. So both of these aspects are critical elements, when it comes to a digital discussion from a client perspective.
Okay.
And when we focus on both of these when we do our work with the clients.
Okay, so you do talk to businesses that you define as commercial, but very essentially, small and medium businesses.
Yes.
What portion of the businesses that you are, engaging with today are SMEs? What sort of perhaps digital journey are they on? And I do want to talk about the kind of growth and why you're really excited by small businesses really in India.
Yeah, so, principally the way we look at the market is excluding about top 200 clients. We look at the rest of the market as commercial market, most of which is what will be classified under the SMB, in terms of segmentation. The excitement in the segment comes from the fact that when we look at the IT adoption in the segment and we look at the opportunities, there is a significant level of growth opportunity that these segments offer. A lot of these customers have been on their IT journey for a while now, but a lot of their IT journey in past has been focused on, bringing efficiency within their business, adoption of ERPs, the financial modules, the HR systems, email, etc. And a lot of these companies are now actually getting to the next stage where they look at IT as the transformational impact for their business,
sure,
right? And that is what is creating the excitement in the space where companies like IBM, we are able to go work with them and actually help them navigate that journey of transformation that they've either already started or they're about to start.
Okay.
Right?
Well, what sort of growth have you seen when it comes to small
We have
business?
seen double-digit growth
in
the segment. It's one of the fastest growing segments that we have. We're seeing double-digit growth.
Okay. I want to break this up by talking about companies at different levels of growth perhaps. What should a typical digital plan for a small business that say is about 2 or 3 years old, has just started, look like versus someone who's been in existence for, let's say, 10 years? What is hygiene? What would you recommend that companies today look at putting in place, because technology and digital really isn't so much of an option anymore, no matter what business you're in. You definitely have to have some level of technology or digital. What would that look like?
My first view would be don't look at digital from a technology to start with, right? Look at it as what impact does it create for your business. So if you have a very good understanding of which element of digital transformation will help your business to deliver better results, right? That's where you start from. Sure. Now you could start with somebody who actually helps you build that roadmap and a journey.
Sure.
Starting as a consulting assignment where you actually start engaging them, somebody who's able to look at your business, understand your business nuances, and help you define what your digital journey should look like.
Sure.
Right? And then understand what technology and platform do you need to enable those digital journeys, right? Of course, driving internal adoption is a critical element of any of these transformational projects. Now, what we do see from an SMB perspective is a lot of these engagements actually get driven by C-suite. Okay. These are not bottoms up, these are top-down engagements.
Okay, and is that something new that you're seeing?
Not really.
Okay.
I would say if we look at in past when it came to just say IT decision making, a lot of that IT decision making was left to the IT organization, right? The newness comes from the fact that people don't look at digital only as IT, they're looking at it as business, right? So that's why you have CEOs and CFOs getting involved directly in first discussion, not in the nth discussion. First discussion where they're really wanting to understand what it could mean for their organization. Okay. So that's the newness.
Okay. So as we're talking about the newness, I do also want to talk about the different markets in India that you're present in. And a lot of experts like yourself give us to understand that the way companies which are based in your tier 1s and tier 2s, the way they approach digital and technology, very different from perhaps the understanding of digital and technology when it comes to tier 3 and tier 4 markets. First of all, is that a market for you? Second, I do know that you also consult with these businesses to handhold them, mentor them in some sense to say that this perhaps is why you should be doing digital. How, what are the differences through this interview for someone who's watching, this interview, for you to tell them that this is what you should be doing? Doesn't matter what market you're in, because for instance, cloud, etc., can be accessed from wherever you are.
Absolutely, and you kind of address part of my response already, sure. Right? Today, the technology access is at a level where, irrespective whether you're in tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4 city, you have absolutely the same access to the technology.
Sure.
Second is with cloud and SaaS models coming in, your access to technology is no more limited by the upfront investments that you need to make, right? You can always start small, and as you scale up your businesses, you keep increasing your investments, right?
Sure.
So that's the second aspect that has come in. So in principle, if you were to ask me, is there a huge difference between a tier 1, tier 2 versus a tier 3, tier 4? In terms of IT capabilities that are available, the answer is there's not a huge difference. I think one area where difference is probably more visible and prominent is the skill availability, sure. Right? It's easier to get access to the right skills, let's say in Delhi, Mumbai, relative to going down to a tier 3, tier 4 city, sure. Right? So if you're able to overcome that issue, there's nothing that stops you from getting to the same level as somebody in a metro city, okay. Right? That's my view on that.
Okay. What have been the biggest challenges when it comes to digital adoption that you've been seeing? And how do you, through this interview, want to address it? Whether it's mindset challenge, saying should I, maybe I don't have the funds for it, why should I, etc. What have been the biggest challenges, and how do you want for small businesses to understand perhaps the right answers to those?
The challenges largely I would say have been in 2 or 3 areas, right? One is understanding of digital, right? Do I know what it is for me and for my business, sure. Right? So that's one that you have to. Second is within the organization, a lot of SMB organizations have been built, with an IT setup which is primarily focused on keeping the lights on, right? Managing the day-to-day
sure.
Engagements, right? This requires somebody with a transformational agenda, somebody who is, actually not just worried about the day-to-day incident management, but somebody who is actually able to, charter out a business engagement within their organization, bring in IT into that business discussion, and then take it forward,
sure.
Right? There were clearly other challenges in terms of access to technology, but we have seen that getting addressed now, sure. So that's no more an issue. My advice to SMBs would be, first of all, I think digital is far more simpler than what people would lead you to believe, right? as long as you clearly chart out your journey, you have a good understanding of what it is supposed to do for your business, go ahead and just put your bets onto it. Okay. But start from top down. Start from top down, that's extremely critical. And second is, do look at your talent within the organization and make sure you augment that talent for you to be able to successfully execute this.
Okay, great having you here in studio then. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure.
With that, let's slip into the break, and on the other side is CDE Asia. Back in just a moment, do stay tuned. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Now, our second influencer conversation tonight is with CDE Asia. Manish Bhartiya of the company is joining us tonight to run us through the business. Manish, thanks so much for your time here on the show tonight. Tell us about the idea behind the creation of CDE Asia, which is one of the leading manufacturers of wet processing equipment. Also, do let us know about how has the journey been so far.
What we do is not rocket science, but what exactly we are trying to do is make money while doing greater good for the society and for the nature. So we took an idea that the planet's natural resources are depleting at a very fast rate. For example, sand and aggregates, minerals of different natures like iron ore, bauxite, manganese. Today you take any minerals, they are disappearing from the face of the earth because the nature doesn't make it enough in order to meet the current demands. So we said, okay, how can we help the planet by offering new technologies, offering patented technologies, doing some new invention work, and find ways to extend the value and the life of the natural resources. So what we did is took this idea as a foundation stone of the company and build our products and offering around it. So far we have been very successful. I would say in matter of 12 years, from 5 people company we have grown to 200 people company, from 1 factory to 3 factories. From 1 country, India, we have now grown to 12 countries, including Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Philippines. All these countries are today being serviced by CDE Asia from Kolkata.
Can you tell us about what is wet processing equipment?
Well, the company products are divided into 4 different segments. The first one deals with replacing the natural sand with something which we called is manufactured sand. So you take a large piece of rock, you crush it to minute particles, and then you process it through CD technology to produce manufactured sand. So that's one of the verticals within the wet processing technology that we do very successfully. So in almost now 40 cities in the country and so many other countries that I mentioned before, we have already replaced the natural sand with this manufactured sand, which is supposed to be better in terms of making concrete. The number 2 vertical deals with construction and demolition waste. So we take, so when you demolish a building or when you do new construction, you generate debris, malwa, whatever word you may want to call. But then we take that waste product, process it through CD technology and produce good sand and aggregate for use in construction. The third one deals with glass making. So any glass in the world you see is made of sand and basically silica sand. So silica sand is produced naturally through mines, but it needs to be purified. So it needs to be, you need to take out the impurities from that sand in order to make glass. And the fourth vertical is of course minerals. So you take any low value mineral which cannot be used on its own, and convert it or process it to make it usable. So that's the whole range of products that we bring, and that is what overall we call wet processing technology, which uses water as a medium for the process, but this water ensures that there is no dust, there is high efficiency during the processing, and we recycle water. We manage the water in a way that 95% of the water remains within the system of the process and is not wasted.
IIFL Wealth has invested 100 crores in CDE Asia. How will this help the company grow?
Well, the primary reason for inviting IIFL to join our company was because of their knowledge, their expertise in the capital market. The company desires to get listed on the Indian Stock Exchange in next 3 to 5 years, and we thought this journey will be much smoother and of course safer with IIFL's knowledge of the markets. And number two, IIFL is a strong supporter of sustainability, and through their contacts and through their wisdom, we hope the company can achieve much faster growth in coming times.
Manish, take us through some of the products and services you are offering to your clients.
Well, the most exciting product within our product portfolio would be waste recycling. So, for example, we take all the construction and demolition waste generated by the construction activities. So, for example, if you are making a new building, if you are demolishing an old building, if you are making a metro rail, digging tunnels in the cities, you generate something what we call is a inert waste. That inert waste cannot be burnt. So it lies in the city as mountains. You can see in Dhapa in Calcutta and so many other places you will find these mountains of waste lying around. We take that waste, through our technology we process it and then convert this into usable building material. So the same waste which was generated by construction is now used in construction to make new buildings. If you don't do that, this waste will then start generating air pollution. The dust would fly around in the air, and then some people are also dumping this waste into water bodies like lakes and rivers. So I would certainly see this product being our foremost product in the country and elsewhere in Asia which has got similar problem.
Give us some insights on the business model of CDE Asia.
We provide end-to-end solution to our clients. So right from designing the solution as per the pain points of the customer, we support him in collecting the sample, testing the sample in our lab, which is a world-class lab, I can tell you that. It's a DSIR approved lab. So we test the sample in our labs, design our equipments according to that, customize it, and then install and service the equipment throughout the life of the plant. So it's an end-to-end solution that also includes financing of the equipment sometimes.
What are the major challenges faced by the company and how have you overcome those?
Well, we found that our equipments are very hard to finance. Being a sustainable equipment really doesn't help. The banks are still looking for their collateral securities in order to finance our customers. So what we did is exactly what you would do when you purchase a car. So we tied up with these finance companies that would fund our machines for our customer and take the payments in equal monthly installments. So it's just like buying a car. You want to buy a CDE equipment, you give us a down payment and we'll approach the bank to give you up to 90% financing, and you pay that over 4 to 5 years. So this is how we found a solution to this biggest problem of raising or acquiring enough capital to invest into CDE projects.
So what's next in the pipeline for CDE Asia? Give us a short preview.
Well, we now want to aggressively promote our products in the Southeast Asian market, and for this reason now we have opened a subsidiary company in Indonesia. It's called PTCD Southeast Asia, based in Jakarta. This company will now be responsible for sales and service in 24 countries in Southeast Asia, and hopefully in future we can see our business growing 50-50, 50 from the exports in Southeast Asia and 50% from India. So that's the larger plan. This will not only increase our baseline but also de-risk the Indian market in some way. The second is create a financing solution company that would make the financing of our products much easier for our clients. And third, I would say to recruit right talent in order to get the company to the next level. We hope that we have just hired our CFO, and we hope that in future we can attract more talent in the company, good talent in the company, and take the company to the stock market in next 3 to 5 years.
Well, thank you, Manish, for joining us on Leaders of Tomorrow. Well, we're completely out of time on this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. But if you have any feedback for us, here's how you can get in touch with us. Our contact details are up on your screen in just a moment. Do get in touch. We love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching and have a good night.